So we wound up driving about 2 hours to get to just outside of Del City to the Sand Basin Dunes, which turned out to be pretty unique. This one's not really on the map, but it's here, it's available. Woke up to really pretty sky this morning after about 6 hours of sleep, because I pulled the plug about 2:30 this morning.
Waking before sunrise, we soon get in touch with Roger, who found a campground in Del City last night. He drives east to meet us at the entrance to the white sand dunes of Guadalupe Mountains National Park.
Walked down to the sand dunes, which I didn't know was there. It's a pretty good part about this trip is seeing things and catching up with things that you probably wouldn't have known about before the trip.
After a short hike into the dunes, we returned to Del City for fuel and a brunch of pizza from the local market.
The Napa store had a service garage and a gas station out front with old-fashioned pumps that you had with the dials on them, and you had to flip the handle, and once you were done you had to go inside and tell the lady what the dollar amount was.
Then it is back on the highway toward the visitor center for the national park. We hope to get the key and drive to the Williams Ranch area of the park.
Like flooding. So the washes were just really undrivable. We had like we had like 5 cars.
Oh, you getting 2? I'll get mine.
So we had to close it for maintenance.
We arrive at the visitor center only to find out that the Williams Ranch area was closed for road repairs. We wander around the small visitor center, then drive a short way down the road to the Pine Springs stage stop. This stage station was part of the historic Butterfield Overland Mail Route from St. Louis to San Francisco. Built in 1858, the station was abandoned in 1859 when the route was moved more south through the Davis Mountains. Next, it's back on the highway to meet up with terra firma roamers at Red Bluff Lake. The terra firma roamers are wrapping up their trip to New Mexico and returning to the Dallas area. We are able to meet up with them and share a camp for the night.
Lots of hills coming out of the mountains, getting back down to the flats where we went to a Riblet Reservoir. I have been to that location before, so I knew it was going to be a pretty decent spot just to grab a night. Turns out that terra firma roamers were coming off of their trip, and they went out of their way to meet us there. Had a great evening with them.
It's a little bit north of Ruidoso. Instead of going south across White Sands, we went north, Muerto, over there. So it was just this.
That was part of the VDR.
Correct.
I had no clue where you are. Yeah, it's awesome.
I had no clue.
I had no clue exactly where you were. Amazing.
Oh, yeah.
The terra firma guys came out and got to spend the night with them. They had to push all the way back to Dallas the next morning, so they got an early start and headed out.
Today we crossed through a few ranches en route to turn the corner and head up the west side of the Panhandle.
Really lucky for us is we came across a gate of which we had private property access, so we were able to proceed through this section versus backtracking about an hour and a half at these high rate speeds of 20 miles an hour. So we were going to try to work around it, and then I got back to looking at the property lines and found out that this was the property that we had permission to be on through all the lease areas.
Might be it right here.
Again, is that corner post right there?
Possible. It's not a marker. Let me see what the sign says. It is a marker.
Historic boundary stone.
The southeast corner of New Mexico turns out to be a surprise. We have no plan to stop, but when we get to the area of the corner, we start looking for markers. What we find is a signpost and a small map of Texas and New Mexico set into the ground, with the corner monument inset in the map.
The benchmark was interesting. I've never seen one captured or protected like that before, and I'm assuming because of the dune action that was there. So there was a cutout where you could look through the box and see the actual benchmark, which was, again, I've never seen anything like that. That one was kind of neat.
Then we travel along highways, through farm fields and more highways to get to Muleshoe National Wildlife Refuge, where we camp for the night.
My map is showing that the state line is in the ditch on the left.
We got traffic coming up, Wad.
I think we just drove straight through a county. No, really, straight through it.
And our heading, according to my GPS, is 1 degree.
See if your rear axle is aligned with the front, because I think you're just doglegging 1 degree out. Wait, I see twisties up here, unless it's a mirage.
Don't tease me.
We arrive after dark and meet up with Rhys Mckillip, a member of Texas Overland who lives in Amarillo and who will show us some areas that he knows in the coming days.
The weather turned bad on us that night, and he was tent camping and didn't have a rain fly in the rain, so he had to wake up abruptly.
Today we wake to early morning rain showers and leave early to get back to the border. We stop for fuel and breakfast in Texaco, New Mexico, across the border from Farwell. The drive today is an even mix of paved and unpaved roads bordered by farmland and some interesting scenery in the Panhandle Plains.
Yeah, I'm on this trip for a little while. I was born and raised in Amarillo. Live in connected with these guys and saw a bunch of awesome like-minded people and found out they were doing this trip. And since I never get to drive to the southern part of the state because it's a big state, figured they'll be within 2 hours and I can do that run and meet these people and have a little bit of fun. And rolled into camp and to 3 trucks I'd never met before and said hi to everybody. And then proceeded to get rained on overnight, waking up the next morning.
I had a great breakfast. Yeah, the service was lacking, but she was a one-man show. Yeah, the burrito was fantastic. It was really good. "15 miles shy of that, we dropped off the edge of the Cap Rock Plateau, which was surprising as we were just running through all the flatlands and all of a sudden we just fell off the side of this really neat descent. It was pretty impressive. And then made our way up to the old Route 66. We grabbed a picture of one of the old car hotels, aired back up from there.
Rhys takes us to one of his favorite campsites near Lake Meredith, and we set up camp in chilly and windy conditions. After a supper of steak and beans and a few beers, we are rocked to sleep by the wind.
Rhys had planned for us to camp at a place called Upper Plum Creek, really nice campground in a red sandstone canyon.
I got the lullaby of the truck all night and rocked me to sleep. The winds were violent. Woke up the next morning, they were just a little bit less violent.
It's cold, windy, and miserable right now, which is so depressing because all last week it was beautiful and 75 degrees. We're standing in the Plum Creek campground of Lake Meredith National Recreation Area. It is part of a whole connection off the Canadian River and Lake Meredith itself.
Last time was a little crazy. It's a little bit. It's right. But we got sunshine this morning and more wind, so we're going to have a shower.
Today we pack up and drive around Lake Meredith to a campground with free showers to wash the dust and dirt off. Here Rhys leaves us to head back to Amarillo.
How late did you guys stay up last night? I zonked pretty quickly, I think.
I don't know, a couple more beers later. 11 maybe?
Yeah, I'm not sure what time. Probably another hour at least, maybe.
We drive west to return to the border, and north along it to reach the northwest corner of the Panhandle.
About 8.5, 9 miles from 2 cool spots. One of them's going to be the far north corner, and the other one's going to be the Tri-State corner monument.
After a short search, we are able to locate the witness marker and then the corner monument.
So the whole top Panhandle is the farthest north point, but if I had to pick one, this one, the northwest corner, is the farthest away from the southern point of Texas. Found that benchmark, which was neat because I almost parked on top of the reference mark that said 41 feet north. So we walked 41 feet and it was right at the edge of the road. Had to dig it out a little bit.
A short 2 miles away is the benchmark where the states of Texas, New Mexico, and Oklahoma intersect. We stop briefly there, then continue to Thompson Grove to camp for the night. Supper is pork, steak, and potatoes, and a data dump of the camera cards is completed before bed. A cold front is moving in.
Tri-state intersection of New Mexico, Oklahoma, and Texas. That one was unique also. It was on a metal cone almost. Departed there on all dirt roads and made it down over to the current location of Thompson Grove, which is nothing more than a small grove in the middle of the grasslands out here.
How's your mood? How you feeling? How's morale?
Morale's really good, and having a really good time on this trip. So far, nobody's killed each other, and we're really enjoying the scenery. Even in the Panhandle, where you'd think it'd be flat and boring, there's actually canyons and hills and valleys. And of course, the skies are interesting with the clouds. We're thoroughly enjoying ourselves between the scenery and the history and meeting new people. So it's been a great trip overall, and looking forward to the rest of it.
The moods are great. We all still joke. Nobody's upset about anybody. If there's any question, it gets answered. If anybody needs any help, we stop. The showers were a big key today. Warm showers was nice. When's the last time we got cleaned up? Indian Hot Springs? So roughly 800-900 miles ago. On an average about 220 miles a day. So it's been a little bit, so that's why we've had Roger at the back. Roughly quarter into this trip on mileage. Every day gets better. Every day it's really getting better. Tomorrow could be a long day. We've got a lot of miles to cover on a lot of dirt. I wasn't expecting the Panhandle to be this surprising to me. We've seen some spectacular sights that were completely unexpected. Some of the buildings we've come across have been wind battered, yet impressive. They take great pictures. Looking for more of this.
And tomorrow we'll get up, hopefully early, and make it across the top of the Panhandle to the other corner.
Join us next time as we continue across the top of the Panhandle before turning south again.